Welcome to the Elite Eight. We'll ask you to begin with an opening statement, then we'll take some questions from these fine journalists out here in the queue.
Well, good day, everyone. I just want to say on behalf of the University of Michigan, coaching staff, players, we're all excited about participating in the Elite Eight. It's an exciting moment for all that is involved. We're looking forward to a very competitive game versus UCLA. Today is going to be a great prep day. Looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Thank you, Coach. We'll begin with some questions. Let's start with Wolverine Magazine and Chris Ballas.
Hey, Coach. Those of us who've been around a while kind of marveled at the way you guys played together when you were a player without ego and the culture back then. Can you compare what you came into and what you've built to what you had back then under Steve Fisher and the similarities?
Coach has some activity in the room there.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. We're in here.
Looks like Coach had some unanticipated visitors there. But Coach, did you get that question, or do you need Chris to repeat that one?
Yeah, can you please repeat your question? We had a little distraction behind me.
The veterans that remember how you guys played together when you were a player without ego and the culture that Steve Fisher had. Can you just compare that to now, what you got with John Beilein and what you've built here and the similarities between those two?
Well, that's a great question. I first start with when I was a player here at the University of Michigan. Coach Fisher and his staff did an unbelievable job in recruiting players that fit his culture. One of the biggest things that I take back from it was we were a very selfless group that really bought into our roles, really enjoyed playing with one another, and really didn't care about which guy got the attention. At the end of the day, it was about the team. We always put the team first. As far as what Coach Beilein built, he did a phenomenal job in building a winning culture. The players that he recruited are high character, excellent students, come from great families. The players that I recruited and joined the culture and my staff and what we built thus far, the beginning stages, has been beautiful. It's great that the buy-in has been real. Family has always been the number one part of our culture. Trust, sacrifice, accountability, being all in. That's what we believe in. That's what everyone has really bought in and trust within the culture. And so I love coaching this group because they're a very selfless group. They play for one another. Each and every player enjoys each other's success. If you look at the guys that are not on the floor, they're really pouring a lot of energy and a lot of life into the guys that are out there competing. And then when a guy come off the floor and he's doing the same thing for the guys that's still out there competing, and that's a part of a winning team. And that's why I've been so fortunate just to see the growth in this group, and we will continue to keep growing together.
Thank you, Coach. Let's take the next question from Andrew Kahn from Ann Arbor News/MLive.com.
Hi, Juwan. I know the tape you watch of games maybe doesn't include the announcers, and I don't know how much you read that's written about you, but I'm wondering how you take references to your playing career. Like, do you mind if it's often mentioned alongside your success as a coach, or would you rather have it be two completely separate things almost, or? Yeah.
Well, what is said, everyone's entitled to their opinion, freedom of speech. I don't really lock in and focus on, what is said out there in the public. I just locked into the moment of making sure that, I try to be the best version of myself to help prepare our team to go out there and compete at a high level. My job, and I don't look at it as a job. This is something that I really enjoy doing, is help developing young men to become the best version of themselves, and at the same time growing with them, because I feel that the best part of, if you want to become a better coach, is have an open mind and learn from your players. And it's this beautiful to hear like from my family and friends that there are a lot of things that are said, and a lot of it is positive. I'm sure everyone will enjoy hearing positive things said about them, but I would just say this: I've earned everything that has been given. I have nothing has just been given to me. I had to go out and work for it, and I will continue to work hard for it because that's the only thing that I know.
Thank you, Coach. Let's move on to a question from the undefeated and Lucas Weiss.
Hey, Juwan, thanks so much for doing this. Prior to Michigan, you were with the Miami Heat as a player and an assistant coach. You won a couple championships. What was it about the culture that Eric Spoelstra exuded that allowed you guys to be so successful? And what attributes or principles from Coach Spoel have you implemented as the head coach at Michigan?
Well, Coach Spoel would probably not like for me to say this because he's very private, but he also he don't look for the personal accolades. But I would say this, that yes, I'm a part of the Coach Spoelstra tree, and I've learned a lot from him, working with him for 6 years and also played for him for 3 years, I believe it was. I can't keep count. But anyway, he's a Hall of Fame coach, understands, knows what it takes to win. Also, what makes him so special is the relationships that he has developed with not only his staff, but his players, the trust that he has in his staff, and how he does an amazing job in developing coaches. So when you have a guy like Dan Craig, David Fisdale, Keith Smart, Chris Quinn, you also can add to now the current staff members that just joined the staff, like Malik Allen and Anthony Carter, as well as Karan Butler. Those guys are going to become better coaches if they really trust the leadership that's in place, and which I know they will, because it's so many things within the Miami Heat culture that really breed success. So when I look at this program here at the University of Michigan, I would be a fool if I did not implement some of the things that I learned working with the Heat. And it's a lot of Miami Heat that's, has spread it, through the University of Michigan's culture. And so it's no surprise to me why, our team has, really enjoyed playing with one another, and why our team competes at a high level, and why we're in this position right now because of day one on all the work they put in practice. And a lot of things that we do in practice is, yes, some of the things that I have witnessed and learning from the Miami Heat, and also what I have taken away, not saying I use everything, but I'd be a fool if I didn't use some of it, because that franchise is a winning franchise.
Thanks, Coach.
Let's go next to Teddy Gutkin, representing the Michigan Daily.
Hey, Juwan, can you talk a little bit about what Austin Davis and Eli Brooks have done both on the court and also helping some of the guys who are playing in their first tournaments adjust to the grind of March Madness?
Well, Austin and Eli, I first start with Austin. They are, an example of what leadership is all about, because of I call them givers. What they've learned throughout their years, being a student athlete at University of Michigan, they have been open to serving their teammates in any way, and they're not afraid to voice their opinion and also teach. Hunter has been a recipient of Austin teaching because of all the stuff that he does with him in practice, as well as in film sessions and walkthroughs. You can just see it, like even on the sideline during games, timeouts. Austin is either encouraging him or he's holding him accountable, and it's vice versa. And I expect the same thing for Hunter when the next man comes and be a part of our culture. What he's learned from Austin and from the coaching staff, and Hunter is a high IQ player, loves basketball, very passionate. He's going to be a server as well because he's such a giving individual. Eli, I nicknamed him the professor for a reason because of his, gift of the knowledge of the game. If he ever wanted to be a coach, he would be a great coach. And I'm saying it now because of, he just understands the game inside, outside, both ends of the floor, very a student of the game. And, he's played for his dad, learned a lot by, being coached by his pops. And then now as today with not only just with our perimeters, but just in general, I mean, we as a staff, he has a big voice, and there are things that he sees out there that, he's able to correct me on, and I'm open to it, and he knows it. And all he has to do is just speak up, which he does, and we all listen to him.
Next, let's take a question, Coach, from Brad Galli from WXYZ TV in Detroit.
Juwan, we talked to you when you first got hired, and I remember asking you how many of your former NBA teammates, just kind of off the heels of that Heat culture, how many of those guys you could get in Ann Arbor wearing some Michigan gear even if they didn't go there. And you said that support is boundless. How many of those guys do you think would be behind your bench in a normal year right now, with Dwayne Wade type of guys with Michigan gear on, begrudgingly, but doing it in support of you?
Well, if I look at my phone right now as we speak, the text messages that I receive from former teammates, whether it's from the Heat or for other teams that I played for, has been amazing, man. It's just the support is real. Players that I have coached that was a part of the Miami Heat has been extremely supportive throughout not just this NCAA run, but the last 2 years of, they've been watching games, they've been cheering for the players. They see a lot of my DNA within our players and how they compete out there because of some of the things that we've been in the trenches together as a teammates, or when I coached during the times in practice or in game situations. But yes, if you want me to name some, I will entertain you with that. D. Wade reached out last night. Chris Bosh always communicates with me. Every person that was part of the Fab Five, including my other teammates at the University of Michigan, they all will be, wearing maize and blue right now, supporting. LeBron too. LeBron has reached out and been, very supportive. But the support is real, and I'm very appreciative.
Thanks, Juwan.
Let's go to Zach Shaw of 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Juwan, I guess what stands out to you about UCLA's run in the tournament? They were an 11 seed, but here they are on the Elite Eight. What impresses you, and what makes them so dangerous?
Their grit is what has impressed me the most. And also they're a well-coached group that play with a chip on their shoulder. And that's why I believe the run has been amazing, because a lot of people had dumped on them and said they don't believe that they should be here or don't deserve to be here. And I'm sure they use that as a fuel to light a fire underneath them. But, it doesn't have to, because each and every player that plays on that roster is a high character, I believe, but a highly skilled individual. And I just watched film and just seeing how they go out there and compete from start to finish for 40 minutes. They don't give up. They're relentless, taking the ball to the basket. They shoot the ball extremely well. They attack the offensive glass. Very scrappy group.
Andre Monroe will have the last question for Coach Howard.
Andre Monroe, Insider Institute. Coach, UCLA has a couple of good guards, and Johnny Juzang and Hami Haquez. What is your impression of them and the matchup going into the game?
I think you're forgetting Campbell. He's another very good guard. Bernard, don't leave him out either. They cause matchup problems throughout their roster. They shoot the ball extremely well. They also attack the basket. They finish it at the basket. They're great footwork. They do a great job of drawing fouls. They do an amazing job of shooting the basketball, following their own shot. This is a very competitive group, and I expect a very competitive game.
We want to thank Michigan head coach Juwan Howard for joining us here this afternoon.